Hi guys, in this new series I'm going to do some games of Gary Kasparov, some of his best games, and I think you can really learn a lot from someone like Gary Kasparov, who was world champion several times in his career and really one of the best, or maybe the best chess player of all time. Personally, I quite like Bobby Fischer. I thought he was a very good player also, but you cannot deny that Gary Kasparov was not one of the best chess players of all time. So yeah, I'm going to do a new series on some of his best games, and there's going to be lots chances for you to pause the video in these games and try to find some really nice tactical moves that Kasparov comes up with. So see how you compare to one of the world's greatest chess players. So in this first game, he's playing against Vishy Anand, and Kasparov is playing white. And this is from Tilburg 1991. So Kasparov starts off with e4. c5 from Anand, knight f3, knight c6, and now d4, c takes d4, knight takes d4, queen c7, knight c3, e6. So Anand's playing some time north system, which should be 3 knight a6, stopping knight b5 ideas. And now Kasparov responds with bishop d3, which is an interesting idea. Knight f6, now there's castles kingside, knight d5, and now h3 is preparing to play f4 and push this knight off the e5 square. So after h3, bishop c5 is played, and now king h1, getting off this potential dangerous diagonal, d6, and now f4 from Kasparov. So now the knight has to retreat, and taking on d3 is not so great here, because after if black tries to take on d3 and maybe pawn takes d3, white has this really nice central pawns, and rook's going to come to c1 and put a lot of pressure down the c file. So this is actually a really nice position for white. So instead, Vishy and Anand played knight to c6, which is a nice move. And now e5. So this is a really nice idea from Kasparov. He really wants to break in the centre right now, where black's king's still in the centre of the board. And yeah, this is a really nice move. After e5, black responds with knight takes e5. So very sharp stuff. I guess if pawn takes e5. Pawn takes e5 here. It's looking very dangerous. I guess maybe knight takes c6 is an idea, trying to take on c5. We can even try something like knight takes e6. The idea now going bishop takes c5. So there's a couple of things that white can try here, or we can even just take on e5. So yes, this looks very sharp. After knight takes e5. This is not such a bad idea. Knight takes e5, and now after f takes e5, d takes e5, and exploiting this pin against the bishops. This is probably the best way to continue as black. And so far, black has 2 pawns for the piece. So here, Kasparov has to play very accurately, otherwise he's going to end up losing. And he comes up with a really nice idea here. So you can pause the video, try to find a really nice move for white. Okay, so I'm going to continue, and Kasparov plays bishop b5 check. So wow, he's really just going for it here. Okay, so pawn takes, and now which knight to take? Well, okay, so obviously knight d takes b5 is a better move, because this one's the one that's being attacked. And now all of a sudden, white's threatening to take this queen, and his bishop on c5 is also on pre as well. Okay, so here, and I'm responding to queen b6. This is very logical, just protecting the bishop on c5. And after bishop takes c5, queen takes c5, the knight can jump in on d6 with check. So in this position, white is only a pawn down, but has great counterplay and great compensation. King e7 was played, and this is the point where the main point where Kasparov comes up with a fantastic move here. So I do advise you to pause the video and try think think of the move. You're probably going to want to spend a minute or two trying to think of this move, and yeah, I'll continue shortly. Okay, so the winning move here is just a fantastic move by Kasparov, as he really wants to exploit these knights in the centre and keep this attacking the king. And he comes up with rook takes f6. Absolutely brilliant move. Okay, so obviously if king takes f6, there's going to be a knight to e4 check and winning the queen. So king can't take. So pawn takes. Oh, and also say queen takes d6. Then we go rook takes f7 check. King has to take, and we're winning the queen. So this is also not an option. So after rook takes f6, black is forced to play g takes f6. And now Kasparov has to play very accurately here to get his advantage. If he just plays developing moves here, then black's already exchanging a pawn up. So Kasparov really has to keep the pressure on. So he plays knight c e4, which makes a lot of sense. Gets his another knight into the centre, trying to attack the black king, and also gains a tempo by attacking the black queen. So after knight c4, queen d4 is played, and Anand obviously wants to swap off queens in his position. And now Kasparov continues with queen h5, already attacking f7. So Anand has to do something about this move and plays rook to f8. And now Kasparov continues, rook d1. So once again he's getting his rook into the game on this d file, and also attacking the queen, so gaining a tempo again. Queen e3 was played, and now just queen back to h4. So a very nice simple move, attacking the f6 pawn, so obviously this has to be defended. After queen h4, queen f4, seems like the only logical move for black. And now white continues with queen back to e1. So it's a really nice move by Kasparov, and now he's looking to come all the way over to b4 and exploit this pin on the king this way instead. And he gets his queen to b4, and white, black's in a real mess. It's queen e1, and decides to play rook a4 to stop this. And also maybe release the tension by swapping off, giving back the exchange on e4. Okay, and now queen c3 is played. It's another really good move by Kasparov, looking to come into c7 with check, and then after say something like bishop d7, the rook's also coming in, or even it's also threatening just knight takes c8 check. So after queen c3, rook d4 was played, closing off the d file. Rook takes d4, queen f1 check, and now king h2, e takes d4, and now after e takes d4, queen c5. Another very accurate move from Kasparov, ready to give a discovered check by moving this knight out the way. Okay, and so after queen c5, king d7 is played. Very desperate now from black. Knight b5, threatening to mate. Queen d6 check, king has to go back, and then knight's going to come into c7, checkmate. And now black tries queen f4 check, and after g3, black resigned here because he cannot give any checks on f2 or d2 because of this, the power of this knight. And if he tries taking this knight, then just check, king has to go back and checkmate on c7. And then if he tries something like queen to e5, this is also no use either because of knight takes f6 check. And now white's also threatening to take the queen here, so after queen takes f6, once again we have his queen d6 check, king has to go back to e8, and then knight c7 is checkmate again. So after this position, g3, black is just completely lost, and yeah, it's just amazing the tactical moves that Kasparov came up with in this game, just to, you know, he made this look, you know, pretty easy just to beat someone like Anand. Anand never even got the chance to castle in this game, which is, you know, quite astonishing that a player of his strength never even got to castle, and it just shows how accurately Kasparov played. Just keep the king in the centre the whole game, and eventually win. The power of these two knights, it was incredible throughout the whole game, and these were really the main turning point, and what led to Kasparov's ultimate victory here. So that's it for today's video, and I'll do his next best game in my next video. So please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.